That image, right there, that is the very first thing Game of Thrones ever showed you. Not Cersei, not Ned Stark, not dragons, dead bodies, laid out like that. And here is the thing, nobody on that show ever stopped to explain it. Not really. 8 seasons. And the answer to that first image, that very first thing you ever saw, was sitting in the background the whole time, hidden in something the writers almost never said out loud. What the White Walkers are doing with those bodies is not about war, it is not intimidation. And once you find out who they are sending it to, you are going to need to rewatch this whole show. Stay with me. Okay, so real talk. Most people's read on the White Walkers is basically cold zombie army, marches south, Night King is the big bad, Arya kills him, done. And the show kind of let you get away with that read. It never pushed back. It never said, wait, actually, why are they? Think about it. Why does an unstoppable army of the dead, an army that could just keep moving, stop to arrange corpses into a shape? That takes time. That takes thought. You do not do that unless the shape... Go back to that scene. Watch the ground. Stones in a spiral around the weirwood tree. The exact same shape. The same one. And this is thousands of years before the White Walkers ever touched a single body. That spiral did not come from them. They got it from somewhere. And what they inherited, that is where this whole thing breaks open. Nobody talks about how many times that shape shows up. Like actually go back and count it. Season 1, the dead wildlings in the snow. Season 2, the dead horses at the Fist of the First Men, arranged in a ring. Season 5, Hardhome. Jon finds spiral patterns carved into the walls of an ice cave. Season 6, The Children's Ritual. Season 8, little Ned Umber pinned to a wall with severed limbs fanned out in the same spiral around him. Same shape. 8 seasons apart, across thousands of years of in-world history. That is watch him in that moment. He is staring at something ancient and he does not know what it is, and the show does not tell him. But here is what those carvings actually are. The children of the forest built the weirwood network, a living root system connecting every heart tree across the whole continent. Touch a weirwood, and the tree, it was their sacred symbol, their way of saying, we are all inside this together. Nothing is lost, everything is remembered. So why are the White Walkers, creatures the children themselves made, still drawing it thousands of years later? Because they are not making art. They are trying to reach somebody. Here is something the show barely touches. How did the children actually talk to each other before ravens, before written language, before any of that? They used the weirwood, a living network that stored memory the way we store files. You did not send a message through the weirwood. You became part of it. You put something in and it stayed there. Anyone connected to the network could find it. Bran literally does this. He watches Ned Stark as a boy. He watches the Mad King. He watches the Night King being... Now pay attention to what actually happened in that moment. That man, the first White Walker, was created. He did not just get turned into a weapon, he got wired in. The same way Bran is wired in, the same way the three-eyed raven was wired in. He became part of the thing the spiral represents, the connected memory of everything that ever happened in this world. And then the children tried to destroy him, cut him off, sent him away. And here is where it gets crazy. The spirals are not a war symbol. They are not a threat. They are the Night King trying to speak in the only language he was ever taught, the children's language, to the only kind of person who could actually hear it. He has been sending the same message for 8,000 years, waiting for someone on the other end of the network to finally pick up. And in Season 6, for the first time in millennia, someone did. Watch his face. Seriously, pause it if you have to. He is not reacting to an intruder. He is not startled, because that is exactly what happened. Bran entered the weirwood network, the same network the Night King has been connected to since the children created him. And for the first time since the Long Night, there was someone on the other side. A new three-eyed raven, someone who could actually receive what the Night King had been transmitting for 8,000 years. And here is the part that breaks everything open. The Night King did not reach out to kill Bran in that moment. He marked him, left a handprint, which, in the logic of the weirwood network, in the logic of the children's magic, is how you make contact. You leave a trace. You say, I found you. I know where you are. Come back. The show framed it as a threat. as the villain finding the hero's location. But think about what it actually was. An ancient being, cut off from the network he was created inside, finally making contact with the first person in thousands of years who could have understood what he was trying to say. The spirals were never for us. They were never for the Night's Watch, or the wildlings, or any living person stumbling across them. They were addressed to whoever would eventually sit inside the weirwood network and look. They were addressed to Bran. 8,000 years of the same message, drawn over and over in snow and stone and flesh, waiting. Okay, so now, reread every move the Night King ever makes through this lens, because it changes everything. He goes to Hardhome, not to burn a city, not to push south toward power. He goes to a place full of people the rest of Westeros already abandoned, and he takes them, adds them, brings them into the army. He goes to the Three-Eyed Raven's cave, not for conquest, for contact. He destroys it only after Bran has already left, after the connection has already been made and broken again. He kills Viserion, and uses the dragon to destroy the wall. And then, he has an undead dragon that could level King's Landing in one pass. He does not go to King's Landing, he goes to... Watch that face. 8,000 years of being locked out, and the door is finally open. That is not a conqueror's face. That is someone who has been waiting an incomprehensible amount of time, finally being able to move. And then Season 8, the Night King walks into the Godswood at Winterfell. Bran is sitting there, connected to every weirwood on the continent, the most powerful person in the network since the children themselves. The Night King walks straight toward him, slowly, no rush, and nobody, not Bran, not anyone, tries to find out what he actually wanted to say. Arya drops from the dark, and the knife goes in, and it is over. 8,000 years of the same message, and nobody read it. There it is, same image, same first shot. You thought it was the show saying, here is your monster, here is what fear looks like, be afraid, but it was never that. It was a creature made of ancient magic, disconnected from the only home it ever knew, leaving a mark in the snow in the shape of that home, over and over, for thousands of years, because it did not know another way to say it. The White Walkers are not just killers. The Night King is not just a villain. He is the first man the children of the forest ever made into something other than human, and he has been carrying that since before the wall existed, before Winterfell was built, before the Starks were even a name anyone knew. And the one person who had the ability to actually hear what he was trying to say sat in a Godswood, connected to every weirwood on the continent, all the memory of the world flowing through him, and let someone else end it before a single word was exchanged. Maybe Bran knew. Maybe the Three-Eyed Raven always knew that conversation could not end well. Maybe some messages are too old and too broken to fix. Or maybe the show just never gave us the scene we actually deserved. George R.R. Martin still has not finished the books. And the Night King in the books is not even a character yet, which means somewhere in those pages, that conversation might still happen. The spiral is still out there, waiting. Here is what I want from you in the comments. If Bran had actually tried, actually sat in that Godswood and opened the connection instead of just waiting, do you think the Night King stops? Does the war end differently? Or is it already too far gone by then? Tell me below. I genuinely do not know the answer to that one. Next video, there is a character most people completely gave up on by Season 4, and the show left something in almost every one of their scenes that nobody caught. You are going to want to see it. Like if this changed how you see that opening shot. Subscribe if you want the next one. I will see you then.